Oh boy! Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the part in the last time we Let's Play this where I just absolutely lost my shit. Not so much the case this time, but we'll get into that later. But anyway, welcome back to Fire Emblem Binding Blade Hard Mode. Today, joining me, we have Chris Digital Dreams.
Hi.
We have Legendary Beats.
Beethoven-san. Hello down there.
We have Mr. Hanzanzo.
Hello. It's you can call me Hans if you need to.
Mr. Hans, and Paper Mario Fan 1 is of course on board to join us again.
Yes, I am with my Binding Blade copy with me at the moment.
Yeah, so
he is the reason why Blazy and I used Sophia in the first place.
And she turned out so fucking good.
She can actually be good.
Yes, she can.
If that happens again.
I mean, look what Wendy. Look at the fact that I'm using Wendy in this pathway. Apparently, there's nothing I cannot do, even if I don't want to. It's why I'm gonna fucking dread doing Radiant Dawn Let's Play.
Oh no, it's the Lolly Dragon.
Oh, it's just Faye, but she's the baby dragon. She's not Lolly. She's straight up baby.
Oh no! Extra FBI open up.
It's okay, she was in FE7.
Yeah, she is actually in FE7, yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah.
It's very specific which character you have to take to see her, but yes, she is in there.
Yeah, if you basically
I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
if you're in chapter, it's the chapter with Pent. If you
Living
get
Legend.
Hawkeye and you go into the house, Faye shows up.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I never used Hawkeye, so...
I mean, yeah.
Wait, what? You didn't use Hawkeye?
Not everybody does. I mean, again, some people don't like using pre-promotes, especially ones that join later.
Yeah,
Only-
but
only,
I used
like-
him a lot. He was
Like,
very
there are
useful.
only 4 late-game pre-promotes that I think that I actually use regularly, and that would be Ryoma and Scarlet, because duh, and then
Yeah.
Sayori and Pent. Aside from that, I just sort of build up my team and let them run for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like to do that, especially depending on the difficulty. It feels more rewarding to actually train your team up rather than just. It's like, oh, this unit comes in with these stats. It's like, oh, fine, I can just use them. It doesn't feel as rewarding for a lot of people. I mean, it is technically the better thing to do, but at the same time, let's say you did join, but it's like, yeah, but I've promoted my Dart and he's already doing better, so why would I choose Hawkeye?
For me, I don't use pre-promotes that much. The only time I did was when I recorded and played my Japanese copy of Reku no Ken, or Blazing Sword. So where I used Hawkeye a lot, along with Geats, because I unfortunately didn't train up Dorcas or Barter in the beginning.
Well, to be fair, Barter sucks.
He doesn't suck. He's actually quite good. I've found.
I mean, well, objectively he sucks. He can be good, but objectively he sucks. But then again, Dorcas isn't that much better.
Hey.
Congratulations, you trained Barter. Guess what you
Speaking
get?
of a Blazing Sword, even though I've only played through Fire Emblem 7 once, when I used Nino, I got really lucky. She had like 13 defense by like the final chapter or something.
Beefy
Legit.
Nino.
Yeah, about to go buff up.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I brought Kidna to this map because, again, she's just a solid hero unit. And funny enough, she's the only female hero in the GBA era.
Yeah.
And
This part does like look a bit off in my opinion.
I think it's cool, but like, it's kind so with this chapter, obviously, mages and flying units just excel because it's desert and fog of war, which is a terrible combination, but you just gotta deal with it.
Okay, I have a story from the first time that I played through this map. So I had like a schedule set up because I was trying to beat every Fire Emblem game, like Binding Blade through Echoes by the time the 3 houses came out, so I was trying to play like 1 chapter per day. And I sat down and I was like, alright, it's time for this monstrosity. So, Binding Blade chapter 14, yikes. And I played through that map, I counted it. Every time that I lost, then I counted it, and it took me 19 tries to beat this map. And I didn't win because of pure skill, I won because the game took pity on me. So here's the thing, I was playing on like actual hardware, like a hacked copy of the game.
Oh yeah, so
on an
not
actual
a
DS.
ROM.
So like no save states. And I was clumsy and I was trying to check what turn it was to be like, okay, well I want to make sure that I get the Gaiden chapter. I was clumsy, and instead of checking the turn limit, then I hit end turn at the very beginning of my turn, and one of the pre-promoted, I think Berserkers that comes up from the bottom of the map attacked Ellen with a Devil Axe, and she would have died in a single hit, but the Devil Axe retaliated and killed him instead. I swear
Why
I
did you
never
say that, Lady
screamed louder. That was horrifying, and I hate this chapter so much for putting me through that moment alone. Oh
Yeah,
my
this
God.
chapter again. On hard mode, it's not as bad because like the rest of the game is kind of built in terms of difficulty in a similar fashion. Like again, the enemies you face here, it's not that much different from the enemies you've already faced before, and you've got better units to go with. But this is still one of the hardest chapters in the game. I mean, look at this. We've got a Wyvern Lord with 51 HP. Like, my God.
Look at that, bruh. Just bruh.
That's
This is fine.
disgusting. Oh
Yeah.
my
Is
God.
there a worse chapter than this that's like in the more modern Fire Emblem games, in your opinion?
Well, there are some. In terms of difficulty or just bad design? Because in terms of bad design, there's definitely worse. If you want to go bad design, just literally look at like the last couple of chapters of Conquest, but also
Silver Snow Endgame.
I've sadly not played
Silver
Conquest yet.
Yeah, Silver Snow Endgame
Oh.
is pretty. Yeah, that's pretty abysmal, but just because of their stupid fucking decision. Well, the enemy distribution is terrible, but also it's like let's give like all these thingamages like 1 to 6 range.
I know, and even if the chapter, like, even if you don't have any problems with the chapter, then it's still frustrating because of the blatant disadvantage that you are at because
Yeah, well
of
again,
how the boss can just, like, get rid of all the damage that you've done within the span of a single turn. Like, that's just bullshit.
Yeah, very
it's
much
not
so.
even fair difficulty, it's just the game being stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, there's something I've been... Hold on.
I was
There's
gonna
something
say-
I've been thinking.
Sorry. I was going to say,
Okay.
like, even if you didn't have a problem with a chapter, you can still see from a design standpoint why it's bad.
I didn't have all that many problems with the snow shoveling chapter, but I can still understand why a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah, but please don't remind me.
I mean,
There's actually something I've been thinking. Hold on, like, do you think Sophia and like Marianne seem a bit like similar in your opinion?
Not at all.
No.
Sophia's nothing
Hold on,
like
this-
Marianne.
I don't know. I just feel some type of like I don't know, this feeling.
I mean, they're
look
both.
at them both.
I mean, they're both quite pale and they're both quite quiet and reserved. But in terms of like that, like Sophia's not self-deprecating or anything like that, and she's not like,
Yeah.
you know, she hasn't been through a lot of shit. She just wants to know more about the outside world.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! Thank God I have a decent res stat, but ow,
Uh-oh. That's an Excalibur.
that is indeed an
I
Excalibur.
remember that whenever I was playing through Binding Blade for the first time, then my Shanna, I know for sure that she would have died to that Excalibur solely because I leveled her up to 10 and then promoted her. And despite having a 45% growth in HP, she never got a point up in HP until she promoted.
That's so
she,
weird.
like her defenses were fine, but like because her HP was 17 at chapter 21, then she
Yeah.
just sucked and couldn't
That
take
is-
any hits.
Again, it's like,
Wow, that
yeah.
is so sad.
That was one of the worst cases of RNG for me ever, and that is saying a lot because I have had some very bullshit RNG experiences. But that
We all have.
I played through like I've been playing through Awakening a few times, and I have never like gotten any use for Vake. Like he always just gets bad level ups, and his bases already at the start are just bad. Like just man.
From what I
Just-
think Vake has okay bases in terms of just raw strength like a fighter. The thing with me and Vake that I've discovered is that Vake as a fighter for me doesn't do well, but the moment I reclass him into a barbarian, he's amazing.
Yeah, but besides, like the fighter class of that game like isn't really as great as other games.
That I can agree with.
yeah, that's definitely true.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
like you
it's-
said, way back, and you still agree with.
Path of Radiance Void.
Oh god, Path of
Oh
Radiance
no,
Void
wait, hold on.
is disgusting. And you know what's funny? Because like even in that game, being a foot unit's a bad thing. Path of Radiance Void is just nuts.
Yeah. It's, this is just kind of a random question, but do you still agree with your opinion that you think Revelation's map design is really good?
No, I'm of the mindset that Revelation's map design is very varied and different. Good, not necessarily, because often the time... Because again, Revelation's problem is not only the map's gimmicky, they're far too Dragon Vein reliant, which is bad because that limits your... That limits
They
your
just, like,
unit.
crap you up.
It's more so it limits your
Well,
like team.
2% crit.
Yeah, it limits your team. Your team synergy because you're pretty much forced. Well, that was lucky. You're pretty much forced to just bring royals. I mean, granted, the royals are some of the best units in the game, but you know, it's like maybe I don't want to use nothing but royals. Yeah, use them royals, boy.
Like what? What if I want
Yeah,
to get
and also,
Ophelia, but then I have to use Odin? Like Odin's such a bad unit in Revelations.
Yeah.
Yeah, also,
It's-
just some of the royals just joined so ridiculously late. Like, I mean, Ryoma's bases can carry him because, you know, he's Ryoma, but the fact remains that Hinoka joins at mid-game,
Yeah.
not promoted.
Compared to like Birthright, like early game, like same with like I don't know, Elise. She joins like the first chapter of a Conquest, and then like joins like I don't know 7 chapters later with the same base stats.
Yeah, against some units. Malaysia's like, fuck it, I can take your critical.
Oh shoot!
Holy crap!
Told you
She's a tough woman.
Oh, you again. Her hard mode stats are ridiculous. You know, again. I'm so grateful for Saul in this pathway, just because again, fucking just yes.
Oh, crap.
I may not like him as a character, but damn, he's such a good unit.
I was going to say that strategy RPGs have not been a stranger to having certain specific characters that destroy games. Look at, for example, Shining Force 2 on the Mega Drive. You could solo that game with both the main character and the character Peter.
Yeah, well,
because they're so strong that even if you level them up just a little bit, they could just destroy almost everything.
Yeah, so yeah, here come all the brigands, and this is why I brought Ogier and Fur, because, well, we've got swords, so do the math.
Wait, I feel like I just recognized. Wait, do you remember in Fates in a Kana's Paralog where like those two brother berserkers like appear on the map?
Yeah, that's a Fire Emblem. That's a Fire Emblem tradition actually. They do it in like most every game.
I remember from FE7. Yeah, I know it now.
Yeah, but speaking of like the broker thing, that applies to especially a lot of old school RPGs. Again, you want to bear evidence psychic types in Pokemon. I will say I rest my case.
Yeah,
they were stupid.
A pal I knew only ever played Pokemon with. They would choose Charmander. They would get an Abra and a water Pokemon, and that's all they had for the entire game.
That's all they need.
Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, I want to punch these guys solely because of the heart attack that they gave me whenever I played this map for the first time.
Here's the thing that I don't get, that makes me laugh. He's using a halberd. Who in their right mind would put a cav in this map?
Yeah, but
I mean, you have to bring Cecilia, but also...
I don't know if Cecilia's actually affected by it. I mean, if she is, fair enough, because here's the thing,
she is, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, because the only reason I say that is because the nomads aren't affected by cav killer weapons. And, yeah, as if they weren't busted enough.
Oh my gosh, I remember I found that out the hard way whenever I was playing through. I went Sakai whenever the
you poor soul.
Later on. Yeah, I'm not saying it was a good idea, I'm just saying that it happened.
Well, it's probably because maybe
Sakai, and I was like, alright, so I just need to kill this pre-promoted enemy. I'll just use Roy and the Rapier, and then the Rapier didn't do effective damage, and I was like, excuse me, what?
Yeah, everything I've known is a lie.
Oh, jeez.
Let's just say I had to reset that time.
Man, back when I was younger, when I first got Birthright, like as a child, pretty much I was like 10 or something at the time, I didn't want to get Conquest because I thought they were the bad guys, quote unquote.
Well, in terms of Fates writing, they are the quote unquote bad guys. But that's
real bad guy lives in
when you look at them closer, like
about him.
Yeah.
Like when you look at them closer, they're not actually bad guys. It's just the dumb writing, like just simply King Garen makes them look like complete just assholes.
Well, yeah, Garen's the bad guy. There's no two way about. There's no two way about it.
Like,
Garen's the bad guy.
Like no theories or anything, just predict and you're correct.
Yeah,
that's what's annoying.
But it's more so a case of Garen's the bad guy, but Nor has its troubles, and it's ironic. They bring up Nor's food crisis in Birthright, not the actual pathway where you're supposed to be helping Nor.
Yeah, like what?
Yeah, I don't get it. And it's not even one of them. It's not like Elise or Camilla that brings up. It's Silas.
Silas, yeah, just bruh.
Well, it makes sense considering he's a commoner, and of course he would notice the. I know that's true.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
That makes true too, but it's just a case of like not even one of the main characters brings it up, because obviously Elise would know because she works down there and stuff like that, and people like Leo again, the Norian nobles, they know about this stuff. It's just the fact that you relegate such important information to not the pathway where you're supposed to be defeating Nor, like not the pathway you're meant to be helping them, and B, to not even a plot important character. It's just one of those things where it's like...
Seems kind of like half-assed and rushed whenever they put it in that sort of way, I suppose.
Well, half-assed and rushed is kind of Fates writing as a whole.
Jeez, look at this soul over here, just
actually
dodging.
Very true.
Yeah, well, again, Fate's writing has been beaten to death at this point. I really don't see how, like, again, we all know it's the worst.
Yeah, like, it's kind of just outdated.
Well, I think the biggest problem is it's just not thought out well, but it's also highly inconsistent. I think that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, like the writer was just a manga writer who wasn't that familiar with the series. Like, make it play a Fire Emblem game or two, and then that would have been good.
People like have said negative things about Awakening Story, and I know that it's not the best in the series, but at the very least, it has more consistency than Fates. So
Well, yeah, it definitely does. I mean,
that's for something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally,
At
I think
least Robin
Awakening
was like a good avatar.
I mean, personally, I think Awakening Story, only the first third is good. The last 2 thirds I really don't care for. But again, it is consistent at the very least.
Yeah, exactly.
And it also it doesn't pull as much bullshit out of its ass, because Face does that a lot.
Crystal Ball.
Yeah, that moment when a Fire Emblem game doesn't include a map. Yeah, like just no map. I mean, like, bruh.
I love Google Maps. That's my favorite Fire Emblem game, obviously.
I still can't believe
Oh my
that Fates,
God.
like, again, of all the Fire Emblem games, Fates has no world building. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like, come on, like.
Ooh, double crit.
Yeah, well,
Ooh.
I needed to kill him.
What got me the most in Fate, specifically the writing, was the whole in Revelations with these Anna, and the whole it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to tell you this. Oh, I'm suddenly dead.
Yeah, that means like what?
It's like, that's nice you've told us that, but you didn't need to die because of this.
Yeah, this is that just makes no sense. And Sophia's like,
Yeah, I feel like.
I'm looking at this like, Sophia, I'm stuck between. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go first.
I was gonna say, Sophia's just standing there like, I'm stuck between axe units and wyverns. Either way, I'm fucked.
Joker's
To be
still
fair,
left.
even a cleric would fuck up
Constantly
Sophia.
What's the most, like, unenjoyable parts of Fire Emblem you've ever experienced?
The most what?
Like, most, like, aggravating, just frustrating, like,
Oh, most
part of, like, Fire Emblem you've ever experienced. Like, Duma's Tower and Echoes, it's so annoying. Like, it's just boring yet difficult.
Alright, for me...
Sorry.
For me, New Barber's Abode is incredibly frustrating. What else did I find really
Yeah, I
frustrating?
can see it. But, like, it's not as bad as, like, I haven't gotten, like, insanely bad encounters with it. Like, it's annoying, but, like, not insanely frustrating for me, sadly.
Nui Baba's Abode particularly frustrated me because whenever I played through Alms Path the first time, then I don't know what happened, but a lot of the members on Alms Path just sucked. Like, Claire couldn't do jack shit, that's bad, and Alm and Gray were the only physical units who could do anything. Like, Faye basically soloed Alm's entire half of the game, which it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Like,
Hey,
in
this
my
is
first
useful for
playthrough of
something.
Echoes, which, like, I was... Yeah, in my first playthrough of Echoes, I was still kind of young, like 11 or something, and I didn't even use Foresight at all, like, nothing. Like, he just didn't work at all, and I didn't promote him to, like, even, like, just a promoted knight. Like, I just kept him at Soldier forever. Like, I never used him again.
I use Foresight. I use Forsyth more than Lucas so I heard a lot of I'm a Forsyth to be reckoned with, which is my favorite quotes ever.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, Echoes' writing is pretty funny.
Yeah, like I had that again when I played through the game a second time with a Luthier. Honestly, he's just pretty pointless. Like, I mean, even though Delthea, like, joins it with kind of bad base, so, like, her speed and attack is very good, and, like, I feel her to be, like, a really good S. I mean, like, what's the point? I mean, like, Cliff and Delthea are the best mages in the game, so why do you need Luthier? Even though he has Excalibur, he just doesn't have good, like, bases, in my opinion. Like,
Well, I have heard Luthier is good overall, but also he does feel underwhelming when you first get him. I think it's because he joins kind of late, and also, like, Delthea, like I said, if you invest into her, she does actually grow substantially.
Lucia's more of a kind of balance-ish compared to the rest of them, rather than being a glass cannon or completely going for defense-wise.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's from what I've got from.
Yeah, I could see that. Where again, he's more balanced, so again, he can maybe take a hit or two. And again, look, these fucking people, man, they hit so hard, but they can't hit for shit. But I always get.
I have actually played the first chapter of Binding Blade, you know, on those little, like, console things that contain, like, thousands of games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those things. I visited a friend's house, and they actually did have, this game on it. And, like, I played the first chapter, and I liked it, pretty much.
Okay, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, because Binding Blade's is a funny one, where I know a lot of people that can't get through the first third of the game, so they just give up.
Honestly, like, I feel like I want to, like, play the teleseries for, like, oh my god.
I was so close to giving up on this game. I think I was on, like, chapter 6 or so, and I missed a 97, and I was so close to just putting the game down and never touching it again.
It happens. Oh yeah, that's the one thing that's the one thing I'll give chapter. Alright, this is kind of like a benefit and a detriment to chapter. Alright, it's a benefit because chapter 14 does have actually very good enemy variety that is very challenging. The only problem is because you're so limited on units, it can be kind of hard to work around that.
Man, hold on. Like, Blazing Knight, would you ever consider like trying to do an Ironman or something like that?
I'm cool with doing an Ironman run, but it'll probably be for like maybe the farming games I'm more familiar with, or some of the more forgiving ones where if I lose a unit, it's not the end of the world. Like if I play Radiant Dawn and I somehow lose Jill, I'm just gonna like throw my disc out the window. It's like nope.
Wow, yeah. I mean, actually, right now, Mangs is doing a rematch, an Ironman of this game right now.
Well, best of luck, because again, if with Binding Blade, if you lose some of those really important units, you might as well just give up.
My God, yeah.
So going back to the whole like about this game, when I was originally I was so excited to get my physical copy of it because I played a couple of chapters on the emulator, but I want to play the original version of it. So when I first got it, the person who used it before had all save files, and most of them were like on chapter 9 or around about that. So I thought, you know what, I'll pick up from where they're going for. And chapter 9 just destroyed me.
Yeah, he's like, I had no clue.
It wasn't until I started just from scratch on a new file, like deleted one of the save files and then went back to it, is when I properly started enjoying it, and therefore decided to record an entire playthrough of it that we still need to get back to at some point, Mr. Blazing Knight, whenever you're free.
Yeah, that was years ago!
I know! I'm saying if you're ever free again.
Yeah, well, again, these days I rarely ever am just because, well, there's so much there's just so much to do. But, yeah, that was definitely fun recording it. And luckily, we're at the tail end of it.
Yeah, it was, I think, was it like chapter 20, 21 area we were around, if I remember correctly.
Oh, gosh.
If I've still got the audio.
Yeah, literally, chapter 21, I'm not gonna... Alright, remember, this is edited down. It's over, the post-commentary thing is over an hour long. Just because there's so many fucking enemies to get through.
I honestly probably hate that chapter even more than this one. And I mean, I know that everybody's like, oh, you gotta hate chapter 14 of Binding Blade, but chapter 21 of this game, in particular, with all of its ambush respawn wyverns, just disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
also reinforcements in this game. Oh my God. The same thing happens in Awakening, and like when you're really overpowered in the end game, like it's not that much of an issue, but like in like the early to mid game, like it just bites you in the ass.
Yeah, I hate ambush.
Cannot survive.
Yeah, again, I hate ambush spawn, especially when, like, because again, the last chapter, ambush spawn was actually fine because they appear at the very top left and bottom right of the map, and like they're like at least 2 turns away from you, so you won't get bell pal. But like in this game's case, they do it literally right next to you, and you're just like, oh, thanks. I could predict that. Again, one of the worst cases in Awakening is, remember chapter 17, where it's before you fight Yenfei and you go into that thing and then those units appear that you're reinforcements and then they turn red all of a sudden.
Yeah, oh God.
I hate that so much. Yeah, fuck ambush spawn. Seriously.
Spawns are one reason that I just can't ever use Olivia in Awakening, because in her debut chapter, then there are so many ambush spawns that just show up and come around, and because
I tried to use her, I just
kill her.
Yeah.
And a few days ago, I tried being that chapter.
The ambush spawns, and it's so frustrating because I want to use her so badly, but I can't because the stupid ambush spawns.
Yeah, again, you better. Yeah, your best bet is either keep Olivia as far away as possible, or just rush the enemy like nobody's fucking business.
I'm so used to ambush spawns. They don't really faze me that much, especially in the older ones, because like from Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon Blade Light to Binding Blade is when they would show up they would show up at the start of the enemy's turn and move.
All right, so yeah, you're more used to it.
Because even Shining Force 2 does that with the enemies. Like they'll just randomly show up, and that's you've got to deal with them. I'm used to it, and they just go in. But then again, Shining Force has an agility stat where that determines who will go when. So whenever somebody's got a higher one.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break for now, but when we come back, we're going to finish up the rest of this chapter. Lalena's going to promote, of all people, so that's going to be nice, and we're going to have to deal with so many bloody respawning units. It's actually kind of ridiculous. But until then, thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care, stay safe, and have a wonderful day.